Festival. You are listening to SGFR, podcast radio for the festival. Now broadcasting highlights and top picks, your tasty, tantalizing tease for this coming year.
Welcome back, everybody. This week, we're talking to Barbara and John, or John and Barbara, depending which way you look at it. In the interview suite with me, James, of course. James, how are you?
Hi. Oh, Andy, I'm so well. I can't believe this great July or August weather we're having.
Good hedging.
Thank you.
James, I understand that you actually know John and Barbara personally.
I do indeed. Hello, John.
Good morning.
Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning.
Indeed. We have encountered each other over the last few years at a variety of different mega games around the south of England. I think I played one of John's very own mega games that he had written. I believe it was the Mafia one. Was it Club 1927?
1927, yeah.
Thank God I remembered that from the name of that from my brain then. That was very... I'm patting myself on the back here, though no one else cares. But like, I mean, Barbara, I've seen at many mega games around as well, and I believe you both come and run mega games at Strange Games last year as well.
Yeah, last year was the first time we did it.
Did you? I missed you guys. I'm sorry. Darn it.
Yeah, they did indeed.
Having fun in the gazebo.
I unfortunately last year I was so booked up I didn't manage to get to play anything really mega game wise, but hopefully this year I will absolutely be able to experience some fun times. John, Barbara, how are you doing?
You flummoxed them.
Yeah,
I know.
I was kind of expecting a question about mega games or something.
Yeah, me too,
I'm sorry, John.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's fine.
sorry. I work on. I'm the one with the people skills between me and Andy.
But this is true. This is true.
I asked the difficult questions. John, for those of us, for those people listening who don't know what a mega game is, how would you describe one?
Usually they are larger games, so most of them are around 20, 30, 70 people. I tend to write and run smaller ones, so the ones I'm taking to a festival are like player counts in the teens. There's a little bit of role playing in there, a little bit of wargaming, a little bit of board gaming, depending on the sort of the type of game. But the sort of unifying thing will be that for generally negotiation games. So you're often in teams. You've often got sort of specialised roles, well, not always, and you want to achieve your goals, but your goals aren't. It's not like a board game where you might be looking for victory points, and I want more victory points than you. It's more non-zero sum is the word. So it's there's some wiggle room in how well you do, so that creates sort of negotiation, the ability to sort of trade with people, form alliances, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's mainly, while there is this sort of mechanical sort of layer to it underpinning it, the main thing that mega games do well is the sort of talking negotiation part of it.
Fantastic. Now, how long have you been kind of writing and running mega games?
I think the first one I played was 8 or 9 years ago, and yeah, I think it was 2019. I think was the first time I ran one I'd written.
Was that the Club 1927 one?
No, that was Relics of the Fall, which is...
Oh, you've been writing them a long time.
Post-apocalyptic mech sort of game, where the sort of empires versus mountain folk, but set in the future with mechs and sort of Mad Max Warboy type legions and things.
Oh,
So
cool.
Fantastic. And Barbara, how long have you been like playing and running mega games for?
Yeah, I think I started mega gaming in 2017, 2018, something like that. I've I'm currently writing one with John. A sort of it might be technically more of a LARP, but the difference between LARP and mega game it's a difficult one. But we're writing one called Under Pressure about a submarine. So that's currently being written because we wrote it. We kind of had the idea before COVID, then COVID came along, so we kind of wrote a kind of prototype online version, but now we want to meet up with people in real life, so we're now trying to make that happen as a real life version. But I've been helping other people. So there's another. Generally, mega games have like one person who's kind of overall in charge of the game, and then a few other people kind of underneath them helping the game run smoothly as well. So I think I kind of went to about 3 mega games. I was like, this is great. I want to help out and support the hobby because again, like the bridge simulator thing, there's 1 or 2 people who do it professionally, but most people are doing it for a hobby. So it's kind of volunteering, helping out with the hobby. So yeah, been doing that since before COVID, helping run them.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I was going to say, oh no, I was just intrigued by the submarine idea as a big mega game player myself. Like, what is this submarine idea? Oh, you allowed to tell us?
Yeah. So we went to Pittsburgh, and while we were there wondering what to do, we kind of came across there's a science museum. We thought, yeah, let's go in the science museum. But then we're like, oh, there's a submarine parked outside in the river. And it was like a late World War II US submarine. And we looked around it, and I was like, this would make a really interesting mega game. Where there's very little space to maneuver around. You've got a lot of people in a small space, and mega games occasionally have sort of restrictions on what people can do and when, and time pressures and things. And in a submarine, they're kind of pressured because there's a war going on, some kind of fighting going on, and
you're underwater,
and you're underwater, or you're above the water a lot of the time, because in World War II submarines weren't great under the water, weirdly. But there's different sections as well, so it leads to kind of what John was saying about mega games. Sometimes you have a specialist role. So in this game, you might be the guy in charge of, or the gal in charge of, or the person in charge of a torpedo. You might be the person in charge of feeding everyone because there's a lot of people to feed, or you might be whatever you're in charge of on that ship. There's different areas you have to go to, and if the submarine gets under attack and you're in that area, you might just have to help out because that area has been sort of locked off.
That sounds fantastic. I remember, I don't know if you played this mega game, a fair few years ago. I played a pirate themed mega game, and there were lots of other like rules around it, but when you were actually on the ship and you were in the middle of a battle of some sort, I have never felt more like I was actually on the ship of a pirate ship, like in the middle of a fight, because everyone was going, quick, run over there, like you got man those guns, because we're gonna move this way, and there was so much maths and like running and like frantic people like running around making sure that the right things were in the right places. I can see a similar vibe happening in that kind of submarine battle type scenario as well, like just the frantic shouting at each other.
Much as I like, and I really am excited about the submarine idea.
We should talk about Change Games.
Yeah, can we? I'm really eager to find out what games you're bringing to the festival. Are you, for example, going to road test an underwater submersible marine adventure?
So this year, we're not. I mean, if all goes well with writing it and running it, maybe we can think about next year. But this year. So 2 of them we brought last year. So that is Den of Wolves and New Eden. There's a larger mega game called Den of Wolves, written by someone called John Misen of Southwest Mega Games, and I've written this smaller version of it called Den of Wolves New Eden, which is good for conventions and things. So that's plays up to 18 players and takes it's 4 hours. So that's shorter and about half the size of the full game. And that is you're on there's been a devastating attack. We're in a sci-fi future. There's been a devastating attack on all of your home worlds, and you have this ragtag survivor fleet trying to escape the wolves, which is like another sort of human faction, basically, and they're relentlessly pursuing you while you are, as a cooperatively, trying to keep your fleet repaired and fed and watered and fight off the wolves, but then also explore to try and find places to go to escape from them. And eventually the idea is to find a new Eden, a new place where you can settle down free from the wolf attacks. So there's that one.
I really like the way you explain that without any reference to any intellectual properties that we might be aware of.
It's a well-practiced skill.
That's really good.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
if there's any other intellectual properties that sound almost identical to this, then do let us know. It'd be interesting. We couldn't have heard of them. Yeah. Also, there's traitors. There may as well also be traitors in the fleet that you don't know about that might be sabotaging your efforts.
Who do look like us now? So yeah,
we have 3 listeners to our podcast, and one of them is a copyright infringement lawyer. So it's good to just to be careful. Yeah,
good to
3 listeners, James. Who are you bribing to listen to us?
I'm not. I'm just trying to make us sound really popular to our 1 listener.
Jan, other people do listen to us, honest. Anyway, carry on.
What else are you bringing, John?
So we've got the Raven Banner, which is a historical game. So it's a 9th century Viking invasion of England. So the Danes and the Norwegians and that sort of thing have been raiding England for about 100 years. I mean, they've been raiding half of Europe for about 100 years. But in this particular scenario, it's where a couple of larger armies of Danes come to England with the intention of settling down. So it's a game. It's a very much more combative kind of wargamey type thing, where there are 2 teams of Danes and 2 teams of Saxons going head to head. But it's still a mega game. There's still a lot of negotiation and talk. Historically, this is, if people have heard of the Danelaw before, so this conflict ended in a treaty. So often, this game ends in a treaty. So while you are fighting each other, you do need to talk to each other to try and politically outmaneuver one another to get a good ending for yourself at the game. So that's the Raven Banner, or the historical one.
Now, in Den of Wolves, which I'm lucky enough to have played, the experience for the player is in small groups. As I recall, the version I played, we gathered around in groups of either 2, 3, or 4, or in some cases slightly larger, around a table that represented a ship in the fleet. In this Dane scenario, what are you? Are you tribes? Are you individuals in a bigger community? How's it broken down?
Yeah, so you are Danish or Saxon aristocrats, basically. So if you are on the Saxon side, there'll be someone playing King Alfred, for instance, and they will be in charge of a team of 4 in total, who will represent Wessex. So they will be the various sort of nobility of Wessex will be represented there. Someone will also be playing the Archbishop of Canterbury on that team. We have a Mercian team. So the King of Mercia has recently fled. So there's a couple of people on that team that want to be the king during the war. So there's a team of 4 there, all playing the Saxon aristocracy of Mercia, which is kind of the Midlands, basically. And then we've got 2 Danish teams. So one is the Great Heathen Army, who basically arrived a couple of years ago before the game and have taken. Northumbria was in the middle of a civil war, so they thought that seemed like a good place to attack. So they've basically taken over Northumbria, and so there's a group of Danish war leaders there. They've also got one of the people in their team's a Danish trader, although they do still have, lots of axes and spears and the like. And they've got like a puppet king, so there is a Saxon on that team. And then the last force is the Great Summer Army, which sort of arrived a bit later. They've sort of turned up a bit later, and that's another 4 sort of Danish raiding leaders who have settled in East Anglia, ready to.
Now, from the point of view of the player, and in Den of Wolves, there's a massive interdependency as each ship delivered resources that were woven in so that the fleet itself needed pretty much everything, from the ore miners to the refiners to the producers of the fuel to the producers of the food to the distribution logistics to the defense people. In the Dane-based, Saxon-based game, is there such an independency? Will I, if I am a player in there with my own little faction, how am I reacting to the others? In addition to trying to create a treaty for the whole of the country, is that an element of it?
Yeah. So the sort of the cooperation between players is a bit different in this one. Like in New Eden, each of the ships has its speciality, and it's apart from the traitor roles, it's 100% cooperative. So you're all trying to pull together. I mean, 100%. It's 80% cooperative. I wouldn't like to oversell just how cooperative people can be. I wrote a game called with some other people called Phase Anatomy, where you're fairies running a magical hospital. And the first time we ran that, someone at the end of it complained and said, "I thought you said this was a cooperative game," because they would manage to go at each other. So never underestimate the player's ability to be combative towards each other.
Yeah.
Technically, Den of Wolves New Eden is a cooperative experience, and so this is more combative. So you will have different goals and different resources, but it's not in the same way that in New Eden. So it's not as if one person is producing all of the food and one person is training up all the soldiers. It's everyone can do everything to varying degrees, and so the cooperation is largely you're in the middle of this ongoing war. You need to cooperate with other people in order to defend/attack, in the appropriate places and the appropriate amounts. So it's more, so everyone's a little bit more individualistic, but you have to come together out of necessity.
What's the driver for the final treaty? In one game I played, I think it was called Last Treaty or something, 4 alien factions were trying to resolve a eons long war throughout the galaxy, or that particular kind of nest of stars. So there was a kind of tight faction and fight between trying to gain peace for all the merits of that, as well as internal tensions about trying to benefit from keeping the war going. What's the driver? What's the heart of the Saxon Danish kind of game?
I mean, so it's quite. It's a mix of the goals that people have been given and the way that the game sort of mechanisms play out. So basically, some people, like the Saxons, are generally briefed to be, well, actually, we want this war to end, and we want to, live in a prosperous Christian nation. Wouldn't this be wonderful? And a good amount of the Danes, at least, are there to want to settle down. Not all of them necessarily. So while they want a lot of territory, there's a mechanical pressure that's put on them, because not only throughout the game, you do start with quite a lot of resources, and then soldiers die and fields get burnt and that sort of thing. So there's definitely it's a war of attrition. England is not left in a particularly good state towards the end of the game. By the process of you're fighting a war in it, and just the way the mechanics work. But then there is a tracker of this. So there's a series of tracks that we keep up to date with, and if you would like England to be like prosperous and settle down, there is a track of how many shires within the country have the support of the people.
Yeah.
For instance, or if you wanted to be prosperous and wealthy, how many settlements are there? Because if you burn down too many settlements and don't rebuild them, that's going to end badly in the long run. And so people's goals are sort of tied into those tracks. Not everybody's goals. Some people don't mind seeing the world burn as long as they get rich off it or famous. But there's a lot of people that do have an incentive to say, oh no, we'll need to settle down. We need to resolve this. And there's the ways in which you can settle down and get the support of your, peasants. Sort of, encourage talking as well as fighting.
Now, I have been paying attention. I believe you did say you were going to be bringing 3 games.
Yep.
What's the third one?
Yeah. So the third game wasn't brought last time because it didn't exist at the time.
Very good reason. Very good reason.
Yeah, exactly. I've yet to find a TARDIS. So I can run games
guys,
before I've written them.
I can't bring this game. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. So
you want to put us out of our misery and tell us what it is, or should we just keep teasing that?
Yeah, keep guessing. No, it is called Crisis Mars.
Yeah.
So it's the latest game I've written. And I've run it. It's been run a few times now without having a playtest sort of label on it. Basically, so in Crisis Mars, we're in the near future, a couple hundred years in the future, and Earth has colonized Mars, and they've set up lots of mining in the asteroid belt and that sort of thing. And basically, the Martian Senate has decided we don't actually want to be a colony of Earth. We want to be our own people. Thank you very much. And so, as it starts, there's this brewing sort of idea that they're about to declare independence, and ultimately it's going to be about a war of independence of Mars versus Earth, basically.
Cool.
One of the interesting things about it is that there isn't any. Nobody is playing the Earth military. Nobody is playing the Martian military. This is not a war game. It is set during a war. Basically, what you are all of the little factions around this that are interested in the outcome. So you've got things like Canopy Corporation, who have been given the contract to terraform Mars, which is a generational project. It's been going for decades. It will be going for decades more. Obviously, they're interested in the war. They're interested in the infrastructure on Mars, but they are an Earth company, and they do get paid an awful lot of money by the Unified Nations of Earth. So they want Earth to win, but they don't want too much property damage to happen. You've got things like Viva Mars, who are like the initial Martian revolutionaries who have been sort of politically sidelined by the Senate. So they've got an interest. You've got the Belt Union, who are basically the workers in the belt who are doing the mining to provide a lot of resources for all of this activity further closer in the solar system. They formed a union. They're interested in obviously bettering their working conditions. And there's another 3 factions that are similarly not warriors. They're not, the politicians at the top end, no one's playing the Senate or the, Earth Congress or anything like that. You're all the factions sort of trying to exist and do well, or at least survive the war.
Can I ask a quick question?
Please do, Wayne.
How do I quit doing the stupid spaceship thing and go and play that instead? It's got Mars in the title.
So if you're done by 7 o'clock on Sunday, you might be in luck, because.
Oh yeah.
I think I finished at 7 on Sunday. I'll see what I can do. If the ship mysteriously explodes early on the ship on Sunday, you might know why.
Yeah, the thing that fascinates me most about mega games is how you balance the experience for the individual player. I get how you relate the macro to the micro. Big reports of regular phases that do things about the state of the nation or the state of the planet or the state of whatever. The places where politically things come together the places where the logistics come together. The experience for the individual, in my experience of mega gaming, there's been one game where actually, truth be known, team I'm on, there was insufficient for some people to do, and they got bored. And in other games, we were frenetic. There was such a relative connection, pertinent activity, and a chance to make things happen randomly as well as structuredly. How do you balance that out?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I've sort of noticed myself in some games. They can be a little light. There is an issue sometimes in some of those games in that some people actually quite like those roles, and they're kind of like being along for the ride. And if I play them, I'll be terribly bored. And so, yeah, the solution basically that I've tried to come up with is to try and give everybody agency. So if you're playing a game where you've got a team leader and they're in charge of giving out resources, and maybe your role is like super specialized to fighting on a war map, but the people in charge have come to a peace agreement and you're not given any resources and there's not really much for you to do, then it's very hard to have any agency in the game necessarily without just acting out and just launching an attack somewhere, or something that's kind of not really within the sort of the fantasy of the game. It's going to possibly ruin some other people's days because you're bored, and obviously that's not ideal. So the idea of the games I've written is to try and give everybody some mechanical agency, basically. So whatever's going on in the game, you've got something and you can be doing something with that in a way that doesn't necessarily, obviously it's because it's a negotiation game, it's better with other people. It's better if you can make deals, but it's a lot easier to make deals if you've got something to back it up. It's a lot easier to make an alliance if you're playing a game of Raven Banner and all of your lands have been taken from you and your liege is not particularly interested in taking them back and you've been cut out of the thing. Well, that's all right. You've got a few hundred soldiers and some money. Maybe you can hire yourself out as a mercenary or something. Maybe you can go off to find someone else who will help you, like fight a battle on your behalf to try and get you some land, and they'll probably welcome the extra soldiers and warm body on their team. So there's always giving people mechanical agency, and I mean, it's not the case like New Eden doesn't have personal goals, but the other games have some personal goals for you to achieve. So there's always something that you can be doing. You don't get sort of alpha played in that way.
That sounds sensible. The 3 games you're running over the festival, do you know when you are running them and what sort of numbers you're going to be able to accommodate?
Yeah, sure. So we've got Den of War's New Eden is running Saturday morning. That plays up to 18. I might be writing a few more rolls for it, so it might go up to 21, but I'm not promising that quite yet. I'm just announcing it on the podcast. So that play up to 18 players on Saturday morning. So that's the running away from the Wolves in space game. Saturday evening, we've got the Raven Banner, which is the Viking game, and then on Sunday we're running Crisis Mars twice, once in the afternoon and once in the evening.
Cool. 4 opportunities. This is good.
Yeah, that runs from, I think it's 8 absolute minimum up to about 18 people.
Yeah. So Crisis Mars and New Eden at 8 to 18, and then Raven Banner is 12 to 16.
Right, and there's a chance that there's going to be a later one of Crisis Mars. So Wayne, James, we can all get together and join in on that one? ?
Absolutely, Andy. You've already booked up my entire weekend with stuff, and I'm loving it. I love it.
Wayne, I think it'd be great for you to join us in I'm conscious that you're going to be really busy.
I would love to just be spaceships for the entire thing, but unfortunately, I've got to run stuff and stuff like that. It's such a shame.
John, Barbara, is there anything else you need to tell us?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping obviously to see you all at Strange Games Festival, but obviously there isn't room for 500 people in these sort of total of 4 games. So if we don't see you there, John and I are part of something called Oxford Hall of Games. So look up Oxford on Board on Meetup. That's kind of how to find us there. We're also part of Reading Mega Games, who run games in Reading and Oxford. So look up Reading Mega Games. If you are from anywhere else in the country, which I'm sure some of you are, there are mega games happening all over the country all year round, and indeed all over Europe, indeed all over the world. There is a lovely calendar. There's a website called Mega Game Assembly. So if you want a bit more of an explanation as to what mega games are, what other mega games are out there, how to run your own one, how to come to one, go to Mega Game Assembly and you can find out more about them and when and where they are happening, apart from at obviously Strange Games Festival.
Mega Games Assembly. Barbara, top tip, really top tip. I personally appreciate that. Guys, everybody, thank you very much. I think it's time for me to move us on to the next recording.
You've been listening to SGFR, the podcast radio channel for the Strange Games Festival.
This season's hosts have been James, Laura, Andy and Craig.
And if you'd like to come on the show, message us on the festival radio channel on the Strange Games Festival Discord server.